over a week of deadly riots, those allegedly responsible for the violence will now start feeling the consequences. Two suspects accused of instigating the recent unrest are set to appear in court today. Our reporter, Govan Whittles, is at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court this morning, where one of the suspects will appear. Let's cross to him now. Govan, thank you so much for joining us. When we first heard of 12 instigators being investigated, I immediately thought, you know, the ANC loves a conspiracy theory, but is there actually something to this?
Well, we'll see in about an hour's time, Annika. That's when the first suspect will appear here at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. And this case is in the public interest because the person who is appearing is also the leader of the Patriotic Alliance in the West Rand, Mr. Bruce Nimmerhout, and the president of the Patriotic Alliance, Govan Whittles, has already released a statement saying that they believe the police have the wrong guy, saying that Bruce Nimmerhout had been sick with COVID when he was picked up by the police, and claiming that the Hawks have already done substantial investigation into his alibi, claiming that it couldn't have been him. But he'll be in the dock for circulating a WhatsApp voice note allegedly calling on people to go and loot and take part in public violence. Although his family, who were at the Randfontein Magistrates Court just a short while ago, the case has since been moved to Roodepoort, claim that the voice note has been taken out of context and should be listened to along with other voice notes that had been sent. We also spoke to the spokesperson for the Department of Justice and Correctional Services this morning. They've confirmed that the appearance of this suspect, who is being branded as an instigator of the unrest, will be a normal first appearance. So those special court proceedings that we saw the Justice Department speak about have not been activated just yet. And the person that's appearing here, being a Patriotic Alliance leader in the West Rand, has a number of people from the PA that are planning to congregate outside the Roodepoort Magistrates Court to show support to him. But it'll be a normal first appearance, and it'll be the first time we get some insight into exactly what evidence the police have of this grand plot to cause an insurrection in the country.
Govan, very quickly, do we know where the PA stands politically with regards to factions within the ANC?
Well, we have a pretty good idea. We know that Govan Whittles, the president of the Patriotic Alliance, was a member of the ANC, had left in 2013 and then went on to found the Patriotic Alliance along with Kenny Kunene, also former member. And we know that Govan Whittles has written a book called Kill Zuma by Any Means Necessary. And in that book, he lays out what he says is the Foreign Intelligence Agency's plans to try and assassinate the former president, and makes it clear in that book that he does support the former president, and he does believe that there is an intention to destabilize the country by foreign intelligence agencies. So it does appear that they're sympathetic to former President Jacob Zuma, but since establishing the Patriotic Alliance, the PA has been clashing with the ANC, and it in fact has been beating the DA and the ANC in some wards, and is setting itself up to be a major kingmaker in the local government election. So right now the Patriotic Alliance in firm opposition to the governing party, but it does appear as if they are sympathetic at least to former President Jacob Zuma.
Govan, you know, we had access to many of these WhatsApps that were going around before the violence started and at the peak of the violence. One has to wonder where intelligence services or state security were with their surveillance at the time, considering that most of us were getting the WhatsApps too.
With regards to the arrest of Bruce Nimmerhout, we know that a station commander had put out a statement saying that they believed that they had apprehended one of the key instigators, in fact going as far as using the word mastermind. And then that statement was subsequently withdrawn by the police. They backpedaled a little bit when they realized that the person that they have may not have masterminded all of the protests in the country. And so the appearance of Bruce Nimmerhout here at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court will give us some insight into whether he's accused of creating a WhatsApp message with in a broader network that aimed to destabilize the country, or whether his actions were reckless and taken individually. It should also be stated that he says, or at least the Patriotic Alliance says, he had COVID at the time when that WhatsApp message was being released, and had COVID when he was being arrested by the police, so they don't believe he could have been masterminding any of the arrests. But this appearance is important because it'll give us an indication on how the state plans to prosecute people who sent those WhatsApp messages, and whether they'll take those WhatsApp messages as being part of this grand plot to cause unrest in the country, or whether they'll prosecute them individually. There are also two other people which are expected to appear, one in the Western Area Magistrates Court and another person in KZN. And Police Minister Bheki Cele has promised that they'll be arresting one of the big masterminds of the Gauteng unrest today. So how Bruce Nimmerhout and the Patriotic Alliance plays into that grand plan is yet to be established. But we know from the Justice Department there won't be any special proceedings here. It's just a normal first appearance, and we'll try to get in there to listen to those proceedings.
Our reporter Govan Whittles on it when it comes to the arrests of people who are the so-called alleged masterminds of last week's violence. Well, still ahead.